Hello, my friends, my senior friends. Yes. So, we have been now doing Ars Poetica by Horace, Quintus Horatius Flaccus. That's his full name. Yesterday, we saw two main points. We had an introduction about it, epistle, epistula, or the pisons. Isn't it? An epistle to the Pisos, Piso family. So it is conversational, the tone is intimate, and it is informal, and we have seen such things. And again we have seen that the two main points. First one is that the writers should keep nature's original. They should not distort things. Like, for example, like a painter painting a wild boar amidst the waves, or strange things like that, the head of a human being on the neck of a horse, or a snake and a bird, things like this kind of things should not be done. The second point that we have seen is that the writer should choose manageable subjects, then automatically words will follow, and charm and eloquence also will automatically follow. Otherwise, what will happen? What will happen is that you labor much and of no use. Again, he speaks about words, diction, words, use of words. Words, he says, they are like leaves on the tree in the forest, and like the leaves, like the tree sheds the leaves, language also sheds old words. So you can use new words, make new use of old words and things like that, he says. So today what we are going to consider is, as I told you, there are about 14 points in this 474 lines. 474 lines, they are written in dactylic hexameter. See that the meter that Homer used in his epics. Now here, the next point today is, what we are going to consider today is follow tradition. That's what it says. Follow tradition. When you think about tradition, immediately we think about T.S. Eliot, isn't it? T.S. Eliot says that tradition and the individual talent. But that tradition and this tradition is different. Because Eliot says that it's a dynamic concept, because Eliot says that the past directs the present, and the present, the past is directed, the present is directed by the past, and the past is altered by the present. So it's a kind of, what we must say, highly dynamic now, as both influences you will find. But in this case, he says follow the tradition, that's all. For example, in what context does he say that we should follow tradition? See, the sense that already everything has been, the foundations of these different genres have already been laid, he says. Take epic, for example. If you want to speak about gods, then kings and wars, and say stories like the war, the Trojan War and so on, he says that there is already a pattern, that is the epic. So follow the epic. That is laid down by, pattern laid down by, or the model laid down by Homer. And what has he done? What is the model there? There he speaks about the kings and queens and wars, and that too he uses what we call the meter dactyl, isn't it? Dactylic hexameter he uses. So we must also, other people who are using, who are writing, they should also be doing the same thing he says. Already that pattern is set. So why do you want to change? So that's it. Understand? So, and then secondly, you can say, suppose you want to say lament, express your lament. You want to tell stories of kings and queens and wars and so on, then it's epic. If you want to say lament, express lament, you have got a second is elegy. 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 See that if you want to say, like for example, Milton, he wanted to express his grief, isn't it? So you got an elegy. So you have got an elegy. Country churchyard, that is an elegy. So where the poet is expressing the grief for the common people buried in the Stockbridge churchyard, isn't it? So that is elegy. That is why there is another form, short elegy. Short elegy is used for thanksgiving, expressing thanksgiving for prayers granted and so on. So that is that form you can be used there. And then, but action heroes, here then they can use the iambus. That means iambic meter. Iambic meter is, you can say that is a foot. Iambic pentameter used by Shakespeare, you can see in free verse, that is blank verse. So what is that? The structure is you have got a unstressed and stressed. That's it. But yesterday we saw hexameter, dactylic hexameter is like this. This is the pattern. So that tak 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 tak, isn't it? But in iambus it is like this. So only you have got two. In a foot we will find only two. One is unstressed, the other is stressed. So there is like a leaping like this. No? Then, like this. Ta-ta, 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 like that. That is the movement of the iambic. So is it action heroes? They use this because there will be that is very energetic. And in the pity, there will be people around there making noisy. So to overcome that noise, this iambus or iambic meter is strong enough to overcome that that noise, and the characters can shout at the top of their voice. Understand? Then he speaks about comedy for playful subjects, you can say comedy, and serious subjects. Tragedy, speaking about tragedy, serious subject and serious characters. That is, you have got a tragedy. I say it's better not to mix tragic and comic. But at times what happens is that some comic characters, they would like to speak in swelling phrases. That is it. See, for example, I tell you, in a comedy, The Merchant of Venice, you have got a Shylock. Shylock is really a tragic character. See that? So, there what happens is, comedy is approaching tragedy. And in Macbeth you will find the polar scene, where tragedy is approaching comedy. In such cases, he says, it is justified. We can justify that. Understand? Then sometimes what I ask, that is. So, he says, what we must do is that, such cases, in certain cases, like as I just now told you, we can use, but what we today call tragic comedy. Tragic comedy can be, but it is not accepted as a genre, but it can, in a comedy there can be tragic, and in a tragedy there can be a little bit of comic, maybe for relieving your tension, isn't it? Something like that, yes. So that is the point. And then he says, so this is follow tradition. So follow tradition means, if you want to tell stories about kings and queens and gods, use the epic. If you want to express lament, use elegy. If you want to express thanksgiving and the glory to God, then short elegy. If you have actions, see, express actions, so use iambus. And playful things, use comedy. Serious things, use tragedy. And in case you want to, don't mix it, but he says, you can do it. If you want to, in certain cases, we can do it. Then another thing that he says that emotions and words, emotions. Think the second point in this section is follow tradition is emotion. If you express grief, then the audience will grieve. If you, with a pleasant face, you express grief, they will not feel that, they will not get that emotion. Understand? Grief, smile, laughter, etc. These are contagious. If you laugh, they will laugh. If you smile, they will smile. If you express sorrow, they will be grieved. Understand? So that is harmony. There should be harmony, it should be harmonious. Your emotions and what you say, there should be harmony and synchronization, so to say. Only then the what you say will be you will have create an effect in the audience. That's important, isn't it? And again he says that suppose you are the character is supposed to cry like Andromache, the mother of Hector. See, instead of crying, suppose she remains indifferent, or King Lear, he becomes indifferent, then what will happen is the audience also will feel, it can never share the feeling of the sensibility, or the audience can never get into or feel any empathy for the character. Understand? That's incongruous it will. It will be something, it's a kind of distortion you can say. So, in all these points you can see what is the key word. The key word in Horace is decorum. Decorum. So that is the key word, decorum. So, you have to be balanced. Understand? Then another point here, one more point he discusses in this section is the words that you use. Words. Depends who uses, who speaks. If it is kings or queens, then such words should be used. If it is a nurse, she should be given language suited to her. If it is a tiller of the fertile fields, he should be given language suited to him. Understand? That is a comedian, you should use that language. For example, if suppose Bottom speaks like Macbeth, what will be? And that is what Horace says, that the Romans will bellow with laughter. Bellow with laughter. Knights and the ordinary people, all assembled will bellow with the laughter. Understand that? So you cannot, or suppose Jessica speaks like Lady Macbeth, and Macbeth speaks like Lorenzo in the Merchant of Venice. That will be quite what we must say. You cannot even imagine such a situation. If you do like that, then Horace says that the audience will bellow, that is what it says, bellow. And then about the threats, suppose you are expressing threats, then you should have an angry face, isn't it? So suppose you are serious, then your face should be solemn. Suppose you are jesting, then you should be playful. And then if you are sad, then you should use sorrow or words with grief, words that will express grief. That's what he says. Understand? Suppose threats, you are smiling and giving a threat. As people say, if you bite, you should bite with the teeth, not with your gums. If you bite with gums or no use, you should bite, then bite with teeth. That is the thing. Understand that? So, if you are a threat, then angry face. Like what we must say, the arrogant and the irascible and the ever thirsting for revenge Achilles. So Achilles' face can never be like Bottom's face, or you can say the Malvolio's face or something like that. It can never be. So in that case, what will happen is then speaking about words, he said, speaks about sesquipedalian words. Better avoid that. Pendalian words. That means very long words, especially which is derived from foreign languages. For example, if we say electroencephalogram. Electroencephalogram. I think in some other place I have given you a long word like anti-disestablishmentarianism. That is a sesquipedalian words. So better avoid that. That's what it says. So this is the third point. Follow tradition means if you want to, for each expressing your emotions, you have got different form. But it's a funny thing to note. At least I have noted that it doesn't speak anything about ballads. ballads, no. And lyric, sorry, I think I missed the lyric, yes. Suppose you want to write about freedoms of wine, see, sorrowful, or the grief of young men, or you want to praise somebody, the beauty of a person or nature, then you can use a lyric, yes. That is the next one. Actually, should have come here somewhere, lyric. Lyric is meant for that. So that means total 7. So different forms, they express different emotions. Kings and queens, you have got a Homer. Elegy, you have got lament. Short elegy for praise granted, thanksgiving. Lyric for sorrows of youth and love, themes of love and other things. What we said about joyful, something about some things about expressing your joy. It's a lyric, no? That is melodious songs and so on. You use lyric. Iambs for action, people, comedy and tragicomedy. And then words and emotion should match. Another thing, and that is what we have seen. Threats. If you want to express the face threats, then it should be angry face. The emotion should be reflected on your face. Understand? That is what it says. So this, and as we have said, words depending on the character. And nurse should speak nurse's character. This is what we call individualizing characters by language, style and language. So by using language, you can individualize characters. Individualizing characters. This is one of the characteristics that we find the use of language by William Shakespeare. Because even without seeing the actor on the stage, you can, just by listening to the speech, he is a serious character, or he is a king, he is a comic character, isn't it? Like that you can, or he is a judge, or that person is a serious person. He is using solemn words and solemn language. So this is by giving, by listening to the speech or the words spoken by a character. If you can identify the character, that is individualizing characters. Understand? By language, by the style of speaking and so on. This is one of the characteristics of Shakespeare's use of English. Shakespeare has many like imaginative use and things like that, but this is also one of the things. Now the fourth point is, he says, there should be consistency in storytelling. Consistency in storytelling. Consistency in storytelling. Now what does that mean? That means that suppose you are describing the story of Achilles. Then you have to describe him like that. Arrogant, fierce, above low, never downing weapons. See? Ever thirsting for revenge. So that should be. Again, what we have already seen, the same thing but in a different way, he says. Then he says, you can have fresh characters invented. But it has to be consistent. Right from the beginning to the end of the story. Not that you start with a tragic character and midway you change to a comic character. Like some of our films, when we discussed cultural studies, you remember, Slum's Eye View, Ashish Nandi, we saw a very serious character in Dawn, for example. That I gave you that example in the film Dawn. Very serious, I think is going on. That's the stunned. Life under the struggle. In between, Amitabh Bachchan stops for some time and takes a pan and eats. And that also he takes it from his enemy. He says, wait for 1 minute, let me eat this pan. That is, such things can never be tolerated in a storytelling. Understand? That is what he says. And if it's a character, Dawn is a character, we say that film is, that film focuses on vigilantism. So that character should represent that vigilantism. Not that in between it becomes comic and that kind of thing is not allowed. Understand? Yes. And fresh. Then he says traditional stories. better to use traditional story. If you want to say write about a play, better you weave, this is the word, you weave a play, then better use the poem of Troy, he says, poem of Troy. Understand? Then otherwise what happened? Suppose you have got a new idea, and then suddenly, without thinking anything, without considering the pros and cons and what is going to happen, what is going to come, etc., you jump into that. Then what will happen is, it will be like a goat leaping into a well from where you have no escape. Understand? So, but on the other hand, look at Homer. Homer starts a story in medias res. Medias res means in middle of the things. Now, if you want to start the story in the middle of the things, then you should have already conceived the beginning to the middle and also from middle to the end. That means you have got entire story in your mind or in your imagination. So you can play with it. You can, there are some teachers, so they can, then if they are very thorough with the subject, they can start from anywhere. It's not necessarily introduction first, and then you have got the next point, second point, third point, as I am doing now here. This is because we are not seeing each other. This is a virtual classroom now, because you don't have a chance to talk to me, and that is the reason why I am moving like this. Otherwise, I also would like to start something in medias res. So if you have the idea about the whole thing, from any place you can start. Understand that? And you can proceed, come back, go forward, come back, like that. So if you have got, say, you have stories like that, people having an idea, immediately they start like. Understand? They think that from smoke they can produce light. Understand? It is not like that. No, you start, the other way around. You start with light, then end in smoke. Because there is nothing to tell you. You have no idea about where you are going. There is no focus. Start with light, a fresh idea, then ends in smoke. But what you should do is, start with the smoke and then you should produce light. That's all. Otherwise, if you are not an inaptable, you are not efficient, or if you are not clear about your idea, what will happen is, all your effort will be like, he said that a mountain making an effort, but what comes out from that is a ridiculous mouse. It will be something like that. So, if you are not thorough with the subject, don't start. Make it thorough. Make it yours. Internalize the whole story. And then you start, like Homer. That is what it says. So, this has to be done. Understand? So, start medias res. This is consistency in storytelling. Consistency in describing the characters. Consistency in the progress. Otherwise, what will happen is that it will be like a mountain. You create a lot of effort, It will be like a mountain delivering a ridiculous mouse. That will be the result. This is the exact word that he is using. So that is the next one, consistency in story. Means you should be thorough with it. You must be a master of that. And the fifth point is, says that when there is a characterization. Should be careful with the characterization. That is, see, Shakespeare recognizes 7 stages of man, isn't it? But Horace recognizes only 4. He says, he began with the lad. A lad, a beardless youth, manhood, and aged man. He says, when you are, suppose, describing the character or characterization of a lad, you should give such words in it. Because a lad means what? He is like a grasshopper. Then being from one point to another. No idea. No, you cannot conceive things as a whole. So part by part. So then he should behave like that and he should speak such a language. Such words should be given to him. Understand? Then, a beardless youth. Then he is on the stage. What do you expect of him? Singing of love, a lovesick, grieving, for silly things, spending a lot of money. Today, in this world, we will see a beardless man comes out with the 2 mobile phones. Then what else? Then they got a race bicycle, something like that. A bicycle used for racing, and then there is a car with him, and he has got a special way of mushroom. His haircut will be mushroom, like what we call the, you know this mushroom smoke of the atom bomb, you have seen. So they had to be like that. Understand? So if you are describing a character, or you are on the stage, you are presenting a character, and he should be speaking language also like that. So it's not serious language, but always kind of what we must say, what love and emotions, and he's moved by emotions, spending a lot of money. He doesn't bother what is happening, what is going to happen tomorrow. He doesn't bother about the future. So such should be the character of a beardless youth. When you come to manhood, you're matured, you're thinking about making money, then getting married, settling down, looking after your children, then getting recognition in the society, doing things for fame and name. So that is manhood. When you reach this man, so character should be like that. And then is the aged man. Aged man is the old man, always mourning. He's a MIA in the morning. And he has got enough wealth, but he will not touch it. He's afraid of touching it. He's afraid of everyone, anxious of his future life. See what is going to happen. Suppose everybody leaves me, what will happen to me? So the aged man should be presented in that way, he says. And the last point he speaks about characterization is that events acted on the stage or reported. Either you can present it on the stage or you can report it. But it says repulsive events should not be presented on the stage. Like for instance, Atreus cooking human flesh on the stage, or Medea slaughtering her children on the stage. It's terrible, no? Yes. And then it says what is called a Procene transformed into a swallow, Philomel transformed into a nightingale. This is a terrible thing. It's better not to, better have a report. You can see in our own tradition, you can see. Kurukshetra, in Mahabharata, the war is reported by Sanjaya. Isn't it? You can see here again, Macbeth, the Act 1, Scene 2, Captain comes back from the war front and gives a furious and vivid description of the war that is going on between Macbeth and the enemy. Isn't it? That is the then Thane of Cawdor. Yes, you can say. He is reporting that. So he says, such things should not be reported. We can present other things on the stage, but repulsive is a horrible, harrowing things. Things will what is called blood freezing. Blood will be frozen, when you see such kind of things. See the one killing, slaughtering children, India, and then Atreus cooking human flesh. But an exception to this that I have seen, probably Thomas Kidd may not have, Thomas Kidd is not observing this rule in his Spanish tragedy, because as you can see towards the end of the tragedy, Hieronymo bites out his tongue. So he bites out, and there is a heap of dead body there. So things as very repulsive, and what we must say is a kind of a scene that creates a sense of havoc in the human being, in the mind of the human being. So it's better not to. So in that way, you can say, you can find fault with the author of that Thomas Kidd. Another is, you see, such a great dramatist as Shakespeare. See, toward the end of Hamlet, what happens? You are carrying dead bodies one after another from the stage. So things not allowed, not allowed, but it's not advisable. That is what the Horace says. Understand? Spanish tragedy and so on, you can see. Yes. But on the other hand, you can see, think of Macbeth, the death of the murder of Duncan is a report. You don't see it now, it's a report actually. So that is what it is. Part of it was you can present things, but with perceived things it's better not to present. So now we have covered 5 points of the 14. It's a simple one. Actually these are very simple. Think of this first one. Keep to nature's origin. Don't disturb things like that. Like a painter. What is that? Pictura poiesis. So as is painting, so is poetry. As is others. Because in painting you keep some decorum. See, there again point is decorum. Second point that we saw, what did we see? That is use of, manageable subject, decorum again. You can carry 5 kilograms on your shoulder. Suppose you see 15 kilometers, but 15 kilograms, then you will fall like this. So again decorum. And third we have seen, emotion should be expressed in harmonious forms, you can say. Forms, different literary forms are there. These are meant for different type, expressing different emotions, different types of emotion. If it is a story about kings and epic, if it is love and the freedoms of wine and the glory, and that is victory of youth or victory of a racing horse and so on, you can celebrate it in a lyric. If you are sad, you can say in lament. If it is playful, then comedy. If it is serious, tragedy, like that you can say. Background. Already we have seen, tragedy and comedy, etc. should not be mixed, but in certain cases it is allowed. Alright. Then about it says about the character speaking language. That is also decorum. So throughout you find this decorum. He is insisting on decorum. Then you find storytelling also. That is decorum. It is better to study, think of the existing things he can. Macbeth, Shakespeare uses all his plots for his plays. Existing stories, folk stories are there, somebody may have told them. So it's nothing so brand new. You can have brand new things, but you should be careful about that. Characters also you should be very careful about. Otherwise, it will be like a mountain delivering a ridiculous house. And if you are speaking incongruous language, then Romans will bellow with the laughter, audience. Consistent. And then also we saw that characterization. In characterization, we saw that this different stages. A lad, a beardless youth, a person attaining manhood, and the aged man, how he should behave, what language he should speak. See, if an aged man speaks like a boy, say falling in love with somebody, suppose he speaks about falling in love and romance, that will be quite incongruous. Yeah, so not decorum. So throughout, this is the key word. If you want to write anything about Horace, say this word decorum, then 90% of the problem is over. Decorum in imitation. Decorum in using words. Decorum in tradition, following tradition. Decorum in telling stories. Decorum in characterization. Understand? That is. So 5 points we have seen. It's simple. Just listen and I can answer any questions you like. So if you have got any doubt, how are you going to contact me? This is a virtual class. You can ring me up. You or do one thing. If you are interested in ringing me up and asking doubts, you can do that. See, visit that site. I have got a site of my own. That is a very small one for that matter. Only an introduction about me and what am I going to do. That is EnglishForMe.in. So my site is this. You can then I have given details about me. If you are interested in calling me and you are you want a good explanation for your doubts and so on, you can do that, you're free. But if, suppose you don't get me, definitely I will qualify. There's no doubt about it. Missed call, all the missed calls will be answered by me, and that is my site is W, English for me dot in. English for me dot in. English for me dot in. www. Search in Google, you will get it. So I have given my phone name and our phone number and so on. So you can contact me in case you have any doubt. If you don't have any serious doubt, it's better don't waste your time on the Android submitted. Okay. So we'll continue this. We have got how many points more? 9 points more. That's this simple things, no? If you take like that, it's very simple. So let's see whether we will share our views if you want. Until we meet next time, bye. Take it easy, take things easy. Have a nice time. Enjoy yourself. Okay.